Downward facing dog pose tutorial. Come on to all fours. Shoulders away from your ears, arms lengthened, bringing your triceps towards you, widening your biceps. Turn your toes beneath you. Lift your knees from the floor and take your sitting bones back towards your heels. We're coming into puppy dog first of all. That's a knees bent version of downward dog. Keep lengthening through your arms, pushing the floor away, folding at the hips, heels high. Let's come down. You can come into child's pose. And then you might want to mobilize your wrists and your hands. Quite often when you're new to downward dog and puppy dog, anything where you're standing on your hands, they get a little kind of gnarly. So just lubricate them by drumming your fingers, rolling your wrists, rolling your shoulders. It's all connected. Now press the heel of your hand away, pulling your straight fingers back towards you. That's really going to lengthen through the wrist and the hands. You'll be surprised how much you can feel on the hands. You might come down a little to the roots of the fingers. We're doing the other side now. Shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the arm. You can also fold your wrist in the other direction and just press gently on the back of your hand. You don't want to press so much that you're kind of catching your breath, but just enough so that you can feel that you're making a difference in that area. Let's do the other side. Try not to fold your fingers, just press gently on the back of your hand. Arm long, shoulder away from your ears. It's a bit more effective if your arm is long rather than bending your elbow. And try not to slump back. Keep a long spine. Keep reaching out through the crown of your head. You can also turn your hand to face back the other way on all fours and then sit back towards your heels. You're going to get a much bigger stretch through the forearm. You might even want to plink and plonk your fingers. It's quite intense, this one, so don't try it unless you feel that you need it or that you can achieve it right now, because you might just want to work your way up to it. You can be quite gentle, you don't have to go too far back. Just feel the lengthening through the front of the arm. It makes you realise how stiff this gets. Shake out, and we're going to move on now and go into downward dog. So come to all fours again, roll your shoulders away from your ears. Don't be too narrow with your all fours position, because that will affect how your downward dog feels. Be folded just here at your hips. You're kind of hinged at your hips, and that hinging remains as you go into downward dog. If you're too narrow, you're going to compromise what's happening in your shoulders. So we just need that nice basic all fours position. Have your fingers spread nice and wide, each finger away from the next, and your thumb away from your fingers. You're going to maybe rotate through your arms, and that will feel like you're rotating your fingers. You don't necessarily move them, but it just feels energetically like you're spiraling. Hugging your triceps towards each other and widening your biceps. Triceps are at the back of the arm, and your biceps are at the front of the arm, and it feels like this, that you're spinning them. Remember, you're not going to do that in a movement, but it's going to feel energetically like you're doing that. So back to all fours. Let's turn the toes under, spin your arms, lift your hips, and push back into puppy dog first of all. Try the water, see how it fits, and maybe lengthen your legs. You might have your heels quite high, they might be skimming the mat. Lift your head to connect your belly. So it's a really nice stretch, front end and back end of your body. Try not to sink down into your flexibility. Try and remain strong at the same time. So really kind of breathe into the back of your body. Try not to pitch too far forward over your hands, because that's going to feel more like a handstand and it will be uncomfortable. So keep the weight evenly balanced between the front and the back of your body. You might not get here straight away, but you will get somewhere near it each time you try. Come back to all fours and then into maybe puppy dog again. Just try it out. You see, if it's too narrow, you might need to bend your knees a bit more. Downward dogs come in all shapes and sizes, but what you don't want to do is fold from your waist rather than your hips. A nice fold at the hips. Remember, not too far forward, that's going to feel like a handstand. Just enough that you're between the front and the back of your body, nicely balanced. It's one of those poses that kind of evolves over time, so don't worry if you can't do it straight away. And you need to take care of your wrists and your arms, and that takes time as well. You can just rock back and forwards and help the wrists get a little more mobile. And when you're done, we're going to come into heart chakra pose. So just walk your hands forward. It feels a little like downward dog in the upper body. It's a nice alternative to downward dog for any of the sequences where you can't quite get into downward dog, or you just feel like you shouldn't in that particular moment. Can you see how you get the upper body action of downward dog? And it feels really good in the upper body. Come back into kneeling when you're done. And I'll see you next time.